This is a color grading tutorial for all the beginners, like how in the shortest time you can beat 90% of colorists out there with a very systematic flow. And best of all, even you have zero experience, you just learn about color grading today, you are able to achieve results that beat almost half of the industry. So how you're gonna do it is you need to have a very nice system. They have all the tools built in, but at the same time have AI color powered solutions to have one click to call out all the features and move all the sliders at once to create a look. And then you can go down to the menu tabs and go and refine it accordingly. So this is quite game-changing and it's very friendly to anyone who wants to learn about color grading and to get the result at the fastest rate, at the same time understand a systematic flow without worrying about node tree, and you still can work across software. So let's take a look. So today we're looking at these 4 shots, or we have just one node for PFA Color Suite only, and you will learn everything as I walk through how it goes against and how it transforms your entire knowledge about color grading. So sometimes we always think we need color space transform, but think, why do we need so? If someone always do it, does it really mean we hate it? And finding a different color space among cameras is tough. You have to match them, but now one click you will grade the entire image to return from the log to Rev 709. Best of all, you can control how much you want the log to be, and best of all, it strip away all the saturation that is burned in the manufacturer. If you are shooting one with DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and another shot with S-Log 3, you can sync them very easily because the color you can do it in post and sync all the look, but without worrying about the log transform, etc. Because this step strips away all the color grading in terms of color. Next, for exposure, all these steps nailing with all the nails is unimportant. So just click grade with AI to nail it depending on AI influence, how you want the image to be brighter or you want the image to be darker. You can calibrate them accordingly and you can adjust the exposure, etc. So of course, color balance, one click, you nail everything back to the balance. So these 3 tabs sets the foundation for what you want to create. Next, we can go to CinePulse AI, immediately can filter through by lower the intensity. You will call out all the 2 tabs in the PFA Color Suite and you will move all the sliders, 135 of them together to create a different look. Okay, so this is a very powerful suite for you to understand and create a generic look that as you use the tool more, you will understand the grading style that you have and you will try to replicate how you move the sliders in the graded look. So it's a personal AI color grading assistant. So to a beginner, you can jump straight into color grading, and the barriers to entry is almost non-existent. And now you can go down to refine what you want. For example, the sky, you can go down to the color swap. Here is where you can swap all the colors out. For example, you can go to cyan, look at where the cyan is, and then you can shift the hue, shift them to green, shift them to yellow, shift them to purple. It's totally up to you. And that kind of level of control is something that unprecedented. At the same time, we also have color density. The color kind of logic is subtractive, where you add more saturation, at the same time it's actually lower the luminance, and that itself creates the richness in the color sometimes we are longing for. So color swap is based on additive color science. Color density is based on subtractive color science. So you have all the toolkit, same, you still have the ultimate control of where exactly the colors are. So we bring the Lightroom kind of control into DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere, Adobe After Effects. So color grading should be fun, easy, at the same time as professional as it can be to fulfill any of your dreams. So let's start with a frame that maybe have skin tones so we can prove our points even further. So we just use correction log, grade with AI, correction exposure, grade with AI, correction white balance, grade with AI. You set a very nice foundation. And this step is very monotonous. There is no need to do it manually. And as technology advances, why do you need to still do all this color space transform manually? That's very toxic, right? But now you can do it so simple and shorten your time, and now you generate look to jump into different kind of aesthetic, and we can start our starting point. And next we can of course completely ditch this process. We can go down to individual tabs to refine them from there. So first I want to talk about film tonal curve. This is the part where we really are building the curve for cinematic films. Traditional videos like what we have here, the log curve line is very flat, Okay, for film, the dynamic range is very different. So what we can do, we increase the black point, then increase the shadow roll off, and we add the milky gray in the shadows. Look at just this one small tap. We are actually adjusting the overall dynamic range and how the texture of the look of the video is like. Then we can lower the white point and we can increase the highlight softness. So every single thing to build in this is so intuitive that you can build any single look you want, and we organize them in one single interface. You don't have to buy multiple plugins, just one will fulfill all the look. And spectral contrast is doing saturations, okay, but it's purely contrast in the channel level, RGB channel levels. So green contrast and the blue contrast. Of course, you can fine tune everything to nail the look that you actually want, and you can increase the subtractive density to get the denseness in the richness in the color, but lower the luminance. So your saturation actually brings down the light, just like how film strip is like. For film tonal curve, film split tone, they are actually built on the same curve system. So what you build from film tonal curve is actually here. So now we can create shadow split, and we rotate the hue so we can add different kind of texture to the shadows, mid-tone, and highlight. For example, now I want more warmth on the image, so I can increase the mid-tone. We can split all the mid-tone, highlight, and shadows separately. That's why it calls split toning. So once you've done this step, you officially enter from digital video to a film kind of quality. This is much better than film print LUTs, because LUTs are actually conforming all your color data. So the more you use LUT, the more your mind will be narrowed, and there's no way for you to recover the information after you get the LUT. So LUT always must be placed at the last node if you are doing node trees. Okay. Next, just now we talked about color spot and color density. In here, we can increase the denseness in the color, so make things pop more. Of course, we can go down to color scheme. Now, realize after usually you build a very cinematic look, the scheme is going to be a disaster, right? Because there's so much saturation, they're treating every single thing. But now, we can isolate the scheme by turning on the skin tone map. Orange means it's perfectly aligned with the skin tone map on the vector scope. So maybe I turn on the vector scope here, so it's easier to comprehend what I'm going to say later. So we lower here. So when we go to color scheme, whenever you turn on the mask, the yellow part are very close to skin tone line, but not yet. Orange is not a skin tone line. So you can use the skin hue to refine, okay, most of the skin covered by orange, that's the ideal. Then you can increase or decrease the range such that you're only selecting the skin. Last part is using the skin density. How fair do you want the skin to look like? How dense you want the skin to look like? It's totally up to you. So you have absolute control, and look at the skin tone line here. This entire skin is perfectly along the skin tone line. Look at what we have done. We shifted it slightly so that we get a very nice skin tone. Then your color grade will work. Okay. Next is a film mixer. Film mixer is the part that actually defies all the previous methods that using pixel understanding of the image. Here is using channel informations. So imagine you are doing color mixing. So RGB level, you are tuning the different channels together to create a look. So you can go to teal and orange to build a palette, and look at how this normalized slider work is crazy. Okay, so for example, I want to build a teal and orange look. I just need to increase the teal and orange slider. Look at what happens. All the information not on the palette are being squeezed and compressed into this color format. So now we have a look. So look development is really about what kind of palette and what kind of complementary color sets that you are employing for your grade. So now we look at teal and pink. Look at how it actually have a different kind of hue level. You see the shirt is becoming teal. Even teal and orange are very similar, but they are very different when you're using the slider. That's how refined we can be. And magenta and green, look at how exactly it protects my skin, but only making those areas compressing other areas into the specific palette. Same for yellow and blue. And these are all done thanks to the skin protection slider. Imagine I do magenta and green, but I reduce skin protection to the max. Look at what happens. This is traditional film mixers in DaVinci Resolve. They don't have skin protection built in. So actually this tool is much better and stronger than the DaVinci internal tool. Okay, so when you increase skin protection, you can get isolation that has never been there before. Okay, then these nice sliders are working a way to fine tune the image. So for example, I want to add more cyan to the scene. Look at the vector scope. Okay, here are all the vector scopes. So when you understand this is Filmmaker, we call it film because it's how film strips that actually have 9 channels to it. So RGB itself each have their own separate RGBs. So when you look at the frame, ask yourself, what color do you want to introduce the scene? For example, now I say I want magenta into the scene, right? Then look at vector scope. What is opposite magenta? Is green. So we go to green channel, we reduce green, we'll get magenta in the scene. So what it does here, this divides, this outweights and outimportance all the other tools, because one single slider will massage all the green channels information into the magenta. And basically this is color mixing. That's why it's like mixing color, mixing the ink. So we bring the very physical film processing process in a digital form. So it's really fun and creative can do about it. For example, now I want to add more cyan. Take yourself 3 seconds. What should we do? Okay, cyan, opposite is red. So we just need to reduce the red to massage the red information to the cyan. And that's how we add cyan to scene. So that is really fun and intuitive. So go and try this out. Another is film separation. So once you build a look, maybe I reset this. Once you build a look, now is the palette is here. I want to create a very nice teal and orange separation, right? But sometimes it can be too much. So you can use red and cyan axis to lower the strength of your palette or increase your strength of palette. So this separation is stretching your entire grade, specifically only along the axis that is indicated here. So that is another level of control where you can bring back the magenta and green, lost in the previous teal and orange slider, or you can refine the blue and yellow to refine and fine tune how teal you want things to be. So that is the ultimate control. For film printer lights, this is the next stage of level where you are being very creative about what you want to sell in the film. For example, I want more yellow to be injected in the frame, just push yellow. Okay, but the good thing is we have shadow production and skin production on. With it off, this is the default DaVinci Resolve kind of printer lights. It's used to balance the shot, but it will never be able to create a very nice injection of color specifically to the zone unless you use depth map. But here, with shadow production and skin production on, we get a very nice depth map without the computational stress. So that is the math and the code behind all this set of tools, built by people who really understand color science. So for example, now I don't want the yellow in the frame, I don't want the green in the frame, I want it to be more blue. Okay, so let's go to increase the blue, increase the cyan. We can manipulate the color in a different way, and then we reduce yellow, also introducing more blue, and add a little bit of green to spice out the image, and we get a totally different vibe. So that's the power you can create with PFA Color Suite. And the best of all, because it's a little bit float, if you copy the grade to the next shot, it will work flawlessly. Look at how well this grade actually stays. So that's the power of PFA Color Suite. And you can also save it as a preset. For example, I save it as today's name, 260604. I save it as a preset. I can reset this entire grade. Of course, the first step is always to do your correction log, correction exposure, and white balance right. Then we call out the presets. So the preset name is 260604, load preset, done. So you can not only do this in PFA Color Suite, you can use the slider, you don't have to type. You can also use in Adobe After Effects and Premiere, they share the exact same preset system. Okay, so that's all for this episode. Please download the free trial of PFA Color Suite, but it's 10.2 on the free trial. If you want to get the latest 11.3 with all the AI features, you have to buy an official license. But trust me, this completely transforms about how you understand about color grading. For beginners, is super friendly. In few clicks, you can deliver result. To be honest, 99% of colorists out there don't use FilmMixer. They don't even understand what is FilmMixer. It's the most underrated tool. We want to make color grading fun. We want to make the system that actually very enjoyable for anyone who want to learn color grading, to jump in, to play with it, and just one note, cut away the note trees, fluff, and the boringness. So all the little bit float math technologies and AI empowered, and you can still go manually if you don't want the AI features, you can do it manually. But why cost hours of time if you can save it? You cannot buy back time. And to freelancers, to studios, time is everything. Okay, so my name is Nash, Passion Fuels Ambition. I shall see you in the next one.